Yeah, we can.
Okay. So very good afternoon, my dear friends. This is Dr. Padala Tirupati, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Government Degree College for Women, Jagityal. So regarding of this CPGET 2024 free online classes, today's our eminent resource person, Dr.D.Nagaraju, Assistant Professor, writer, and Government City College, Autonomous, Hyderabad. Please welcome, sir, and share your screen and start your session.
Okay. Okay. Where it is? Here. Yeah. Is it okay? Screen is visible?
No, screen is not visible. Still it is waiting.
Okay.
Then అడ్డగా దిప్తారన్నా right, but right, please proceed.
Okay.
Right.
Good afternoon to everyone, all the young aspirants of botany. You know, we are discussing from the since the last 2 days about the fungi. We have discussed about the basic general characters of the fungi, differences between the fungi and bacteria, fungi and algae, and thallus organization in the fungi, various structures, various type of the structures of the thalluses in the fungi, and also we have studied general account of the fungi. Now the next topic, nutrition, also we have discussed nutrition of the fungi, types of the nutrition, which fungi having what type of the nutrition, types of the nutrition. Now today we are going to discuss about the reproduction in the fungi. Reproduction means production of their own offsprings. Production of their own offsprings. Reproduction. What are there? The living organisms that reproduce their own offsprings. That all we know very well. You know, the basically reproduction is 3 types in the fungi. What are those? Do you have any idea? Any students are there? What are those types? What are those types of the reproduction? What are the types of the reproductions? You see here. Can anybody say?
Vegetative, asexual, sexual.
Yeah, there is a 3 types of the reproduction. That is vegetative reproduction, asexual reproduction, and sexual reproduction. You know what does it mean, the vegetative reproduction? Vegetative reproduction, reproduction of the new things by participating the only vegetative thallus, not the sexual organs. Only vegetative thallus, it can reproduce their own thallus of the fungi. That reproduction we call it as vegetative reproduction. Okay. And asexual reproduction means within the single thallus, within the single plant, without fusion, mating up with other sex or other state. They form special type of the spores. The spores comes together and it germinate and form the new thallus. Next generation, new individuals. The next is sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction means two opposite strain, mating between the two opposite strain, fusion of the genetic material in between the two organisms, fusion of the genetic material, cytoplasm, nucleus. You know what are the basic steps which are there in the sexual reproduction? What are the basic steps? You know, there is a basic 3 steps are there. The 3 steps must be happen in the sexual reproduction. Then only we call it as sexual reproduction. What are those 3 basic steps, aspects in the sexual reproduction? Do you know anybody? Where is annotation? That annotation is not coming. Huh? Just a second. I will. Yeah. Okay. Vegetative, asexual, and sexual reproduction. You see, sexual reproduction, in the sexual reproduction, 3 steps are there. What are those 3 steps? First one is plasmogamy. Plasmogamy. Second one is karyogamy. Third one is meiosis. What it is? Meiosis. These are which follows the sexual reproduction. If these 3 steps are there, then only we call this a sexual reproduction. Plasmogamy means fusion of the plasma. That means fusion of the cytoplasm in between the two thalluses. In between the two, fusion of the cytoplasm of one thallus or one cell, one tissue to other tissues. That is plasmogamy. After that, whenever the cytoplasm is enter into these other tissues, and automatically the nucleus also will go through that. Next step is fusion of the nucleus, two opposite nucleus, plus and minus nucleus. That is karyogamy. After the fusion, it will become diploid, 2n. It will become the diploid, 2n in stage. Okay. Applied to haploid spores, to haploid nucleus, which fuse, you take the karyogamy. Karyo means nucleus. Gamy means fusion, nuclear fusion. Plasmogamy. Plasma means cytoplasm fusion. Fusion of the cytoplasm, fusion of the nucleus. Though it will become the diploid. Then it take the reduction division. Third step is reduction division. So the meiosis, by mixing of the two opposite nucleus, that genetic material will be divided into 4 spores, 4 cells, haploid spores. That again germinate and it form again the haploid plants, haploid thallus. That is happen in all the sexual reproduction stages. Okay, in the sexual reproductions. Okay, but in the lower, there is a variation in the fungi from lower fungi to higher fungi. In the lower fungi, reproduction, plasmogamy, karyogamy, meiosis will take place immediately one after other. There is no gap in the masticomycotina, zygomycotina. There is no gap in between the plasmogamy, karyogamy, and meiosis. That is very important. Whereas in the higher fungi, Asst.Mycotina and Basidiomycotina, there is a gap in between the plasmogamy and karyogamy and meiosis. Plasmogamy, karyogamy, and meiosis, there is a gap. Okay, that gap, what's going on, what you are doing, within the gap, that will get mature, they get modified, advanced, so that they will be fully developed. All the spores will become the new thallus. For that adaptation, it takes some time to get mature in between the plasmogamy and karyogamy, and after karyogamy and meiosis. In the competitive exam, they've asked, in ascomycetes, karyogamy will take place. Where it takes place? Do you have any idea? Where it takes place? You know, there is a ascus food body, a curved, bended ascus, that we called it as crozier, sickle shape, curved. In this crozier, the karyogamy will take place in the ascomycotina. In the competitive exam, they ask the question. In the ascomycotina, where the nuclear fission, karyogamy will take place? At the croziers. How many number of spores are present in each ascus? They ask the question. How many? 4 ascus are present in each ascus spores. That also, so many times they ask the question, how many ascospores are present in the ascus? Okay. And then, whereas in the basidiomycotina, it takes place in the basidium, whenever the prangulae are going to rise. After the fusion of the tertiary mycelium, also called as basidium. Primary mycelium, they made, and it formed the secondary mycelium. And the secondary mycelium again, it take the dichordization, dichordization with the clamp connection by the ring road, outer ring road bypass, and it formed the tertiary mycelium that we call it as basidium. In that basidium, tertiary mycelium, it takes the sexual reproduction. That means in the sexual reproduction, main part, karyogamy will take place in the basidium. That is the most important. So many exams, they ask the question. The ascomycotina, where it is? The crozier. The basidiomycotina, tertiary mycelium are in the basidium. The karyogamy will take place. Okay, there is a gap between the plasmogamy and karyogamy in the ascomycotina and basidiomycotina. In ascomycotina and basidiomycotina, there is a gap between the plasmogamy and karyogamy. There is a gap. Whereas in the primitive fungi, there is no gap. Immediately plasmogamy, karyogamy, meiosis will take place. That is the difference. Okay. And okay. Oh, then again, we have to go back. Huh? Okay. Then you can see the first one is vegetative reproduction. What it is? The vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction means only vegetative organs will participate. There is no sex organs. There is no gametangia, gametes. There is no fusion in between the two cells, in between the two nuclei. Okay. Only vegetative organs will be participated individually. Individual organs. There is no two organisms mating happen in the vegetative reproduction and asexual reproduction. That's primary differentiation. You should remember. You don't forget. Okay, what is the difference between sexual and asexual reproduction? You see, the vegetative reproduction in the fungi, especially by fragmentation. Vegetative reproduction by fragmentation. Oh, again annotation gone. Huh? Vegetative reproduction by fragmentation. Where it is the annotation? Vegetative reproduction by fragmentation. Okay. Fragmentation means if the thallus or filament, hyphae may split, cut at any place, each individual will become the new thallus. Fragments, it get fragmented if any reason, the individual fragments will become the new thallus. That is the fragmentation that will be common in most of the fungi. Whatever the mycelium, hyphae, if it splits, cut, damage, the remaining mycelium will become the new thallus. Okay, and the next one is fission, not fusion, fission, splitting. Next one is fusion. You see the fission here. The one cell will be dividing into two. One cell is dividing into two, splitting. By splitting, one cell will become the one fungi will become the two. You know, especially binary fission. Binary fission. Most predominant type of the sexual reproduction in the bacteria is binary fission. In the fungi, especially in the unicellular organisms, yeast, syncytium, Olphidium, and the single cellular organisms, the fission will take place. Fission in which fungi? Yeast, Alphidium, Chytridiomyces. Single cellular fungi which participate in the fission. Next one is budding. Budding is also there in the single cellular fungi. There is a notch, swollen bubbles will form at the typical position, and then whatever the cytoplasm and nucleus, some part of the cytoplasm and nucleus will go through these bubbles. That like that it formed so many buds. That is called as budding. It is common in the yeast budding. And you know the sclerotium. I already told you the sclerotium. It is there in the Claviceps purpurea fungi. It causes ergot disease to the ray plant. Ergot disease to the ray plants. That is Claviceps purpurea. Claviceps purpurea plant fungi, which form the dense coated barrel shaped structure that we call it as sclerotium. Only vegetative thallus is being modified the very dense, thick coated, dense barrel shaped structure that we are calling it as what it is? Sclerotia. Are you there? Are you listening? Are you there? Is it audible? Is it audible, my voice? Are you there?
Yes,
Yes,
audible,
sir.
sir. Audible. మాట్లాడండి మీరు మాట్లాడాలి.
Okay. Then the next one is rhizomorph. I already told you the special hypal characters, hypal modifications in that we discussed yesterday. Root-like structure. Vegetative thallus is modifying into root-like structure. This root-like structure will become the new thallus. It will overcome the abnormal conditions. And then whenever the favorable conditions, this all the tightly coiled bundle, barrel shape or root shape thallus will be again multi-branched and it form the new thalluses. These are the various type of the vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproductions. Okay. Oh, again, I have to go back. Vegetative reproductions. Okay. And then here you can see in the fission, I already told you the fission, what is happening in the yeast. One cell will become the two. That is the fission. Okay. And then you can see the budding, how it is happening, the budding, the swollen part at the typical, that whatever the cytoplasm and nucleus going to that swollen part, that is forming the new cell. If even it cut from the main thallus, mother tissue, mother cell, the divided each cell will become new yeast. That is the greatness of the multiplication. You see the sclerosia, I already told you, claviceps purpurea, and the rhizomorph, I told you. Huh? Even in Armillaria millia, you know the Armillaria millia fungi that emit light as like Minigur Purgantama, like that it emit light. You might have seen in the pictures in the very dark night, hero and heroine going in the forest. This fungi shown the light, so shown the way to go in the forest, to move in the forest. That you remember not. Then the subjects. Okay. That light emitting fungi also is there, especially Armillaria millia. That also you may ask the question in the competitive exam. Okay. Light emit, it emits the light so that it gives the bright light. And then the next is asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction will take place in the single thallus, not the combination of the two opposite cells or two only individuals thallus will participate in the asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction by especially by spores. Spores by formation of the spores. You know, two types of the spores: endogenous and exogenous. Endogenous spores and exogenous spores. Endogenous spores mean oh, the annotation is going endogenous. Okay, endogenous means if the spore sporangiospores, like that. Exogenous spores, that spores direct chlamydia, iodia, chlamydospores, orthospores. These all are exospores. Exospores and endospores. Have you identified the differentiation between the two? Have you got an idea?
Yes, sir.
Endogenous means spores which are formed inside the sac, sporangium. Exogenous means spores directly formed at outside. The conidiophore, these are the conidias. Iodia, orthodia, orthospores, chlamydospores, these all are exospores. Okay, and then next we will go for the endogenous. You see in the rhizopas, mucor, you have seen the sporangium. In the sporangium are present. You see whatever the aplanospores or juice spores. What does it mean, the aplanospores? Anyone have an idea? Aplanospores. Aplanospores means. Anyone can say? What does it mean, aplanospore? Juice spores?
Non-spores.
Non?
Flagellated spores.
Yes, non-flagellated. Non-flagellated spores are called as aplanospores. Flagellated spores are called juice spores. You know, only one group of fungi, one class of fungi that having the flagella. I told you yesterday. Which group it is? Motile spores are present only in the one class of the fungi. Mastigomycetes. Mastigomycetes again divided into three: Chytridomycetes, Hypochytridomycetes, and Oomycetes. Okay, in this Mastigomycetes, there is a flagella are present. Okay, Chytridomycetes, Hypochytridomycetes, Oomycetes. I already told you differentiation between Chytridomycetes, Hypochytridomycetes, and Oomycetes. Okay, yesterday. These are the endospores, especially spores which are present in the sporangium sac. That we call it as sporangiospores. Okay. You see, aplanospores means without flagella. Without flagella, directly spores which are released out, come out from the sporangium. Okay. You see in the Reproduction. After spore only remaining all the spores after releasing out the spores. Okay, and then you can see epispores. Alright, what are those? And then next is juice spores, which are having the flagella. Juice spores, which are having, that means which are having the flagella. The juice spores are especially present in the Mastigomycotina, especially in Albugo, Pythium, Phytoptera, especially in the lower fungi, Mastigomycetes fungi. The juice spores which are formed in the Mastigomycetes fungi, that is Albugo, Pythium, Phytoptera. You know, Albugo, cystopus. Albugo also called as cystopus. It caused the which disease? You have studied. This you have studied in your first year. White rust. You have studied white rust, wheat rust, ticka disease, leaf spot of groundnut. That all you have studied. White rust, the albugo which cause the white spots upon the leafy vegetables, especially amaranthus, acanthaceae, portulaceae, and the leafy vegetables, it form the white patches, white pustules. You might have seen on so many vegetables, especially in the brassica, on brassica, aval, palakura, totakura, chukakura, మీద చూసుంటారు white spots that caused by albugo. Albugo other name is cystopus. Albugo or cystopus. I know you know the Phytoptera. Phytoptera is also one of the main important fungi which cause much damage, which cause famine. You know the which famine caused by Phytoptera? caused by Phytophthora infestans. Phytophthora infestans, island amine. That because of Phytophthora infestans that cause late blight of potato. Ask the question: late blight of potato is caused by late blight of potato. Is caused by which one? Phytophthora infestans, which cause the late blight of potato late blight disease. You know the early blight disease? Early blight disease that caused by Cercospora. Late blight disease caused by Phytophthora. That also asks the question: early blight disease caused by, late blight disease caused by. The fungi's names will be given, 4 choices. Okay, that is the most important. You see the flagella only in the Mycology. 3 types of the flagella. I told you the one single smooth flagella that we call it as acronymatic whiplash. Koradalaga untundani cheppam. If the one flagella if it having the pembrils, that we call it as tensile type, plantonymatic or fluoronymatic type. That is there in the hypocytidomyces. Whiplash type there in the chytidomyces. And both the flagellas are present in oomycetes. These 3 only having the flagella. This all comes under Mycology. Okay, and in the other, you see the sac, and the spores are present. Inside the spores are present. Okay, especially in the Phytophthora. Pythium Phytophthora. Okay, and then next you can see exogenous spores. Spores which are forming at outside. Spores which are forming at outside, especially the conidias. Okay, I already told you the conidiophore, conidia pilates and triangulas. You see on the conidiophore, conidias are present. These are at outside. This we can see in the Aspergillus and Penicillium. Aspergillus and Penicillium. Conidias are at outside. That's why these are called as exospores. Exospores. You see other type of the exospores which are there. Iodia arthrospores, and you see the septate. You see sickle shape conidias, septate conidias, and you see the chains of the conidiophore in the Aspergillus and Penicillium. These are the various types of those spores. Okay, arthrospores, basilospores, pycniospores, ichthyospores. These all are the spores, exogenous spores, spores which are coming out. You see the spores, how they are releasing, even from Pycnia or from Acervuli or from Pycnia. Acervuli or Pycnidia, it releasing the spores, conidia spores. Okay, and then next you can see the sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction. Oh, it's gone on. The sexual reproduction, especially in the fungi, the sexual reproduction will take place by how many types of the sexual reproduction are there in the fungi? First one is planogametangial copulation. You can see directly. Here it is. Okay. Yeah. You can see the types of the sexual reproduction, methods of sexual reproduction in the fungi. What are those? Planogametic copulation. Planogametic copulation. That means motile spores, flagellated spores, which fuse, which comes together, flagellated spores which are come together, and it takes the fission, it takes the plasmogamy, karyogamy, and meiosis. That is called as plasmogamic copulation. It is there only in the fungi. Masticomycetes, that means Chytridomycetes, Omycetes, fungi, where they are in the flagella. You know, planogametic copulation again, three types. Planogametic copulation again, three types. Can anybody say what are those three types? In the algae you have studied. Even in the fungi also you have studied the sexual reproduction. Isogamy, anisogamy, oogamy. Isogamy, anisogamy, and oogamy. Isogamy means to equal size spores equally move each other and made it form the diploid and then take the reduction dividend. That is isogamy, to equal spores. Structurally, functionally equal spores are made. That is called as isogamy. Anisogamy, that means female is the bigger one, male is the smaller one. Or female is stable, only male will move. Structurally or functionally, unequalness is there. Unequal spores, mating in between the unequal size spores. That is anisogamy. The third one, advanced one, is oogamy. Female gamete is stable, attached to the mother plant. Only the male gamete will move and comes nearer to the female and it takes the fusion. That called as oogamy. It is the advanced type of the sexual reproduction. That is oogamous type of the sexual reproduction. Okay, oogamous. These are the three types in the plasmo or planogametic copulation. Okay, and then the next is gametangial contact. It is there in the Pythium, Phytoptera, Albugo, Pythium, Phytoptera. Gametangia. In contact, in touch. The female gametangium and male gametangium. Both are side by side. Both are formed from side by side. Male gametangium. Here, by contacting, by touching each fusion, mixing of the cytoplasm and nucleus in between the two gametangia. That is gametangial contact. It is there in which organism? The competitive exam, they ask the question. Gametangial contact is present in. I told you just now. Gametangial contact is there in. Is there in. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Gametangial contact is present in Albugo, Pythium, Phytophthora. Just now I told you now. And the next is gametangial copulation. Coupling of opposite state. Opposite state gametangial attracted by the sexual hormones of the fungi, so that the plus thallus comes together. Coupling will take place. Here cytoplasm, here and it takes the reduction division, so that it forms again by spores. That is there in the Rhizopus and Mucor, in the Zygomycotina fungi. Which fungi? Zygomystis fungi. Gametangial copulation is present in occur in where?
Rhizopus.
Rhizopus, Mucor. Which class? Zygomystis.
Zygote.
Okay. Gametangial contacts will take place in Pythium, Phytophthora, Albugo. Okay. Planogamic copulation will take place in Mastigomystis, Oomystis and Chytidomystis. And the next is spermatization. Spermatization will take place especially in the Asst.Professor fungi. Which fungi? Asst.Professor fungi. Asst.Professor fungi, the spermatization. That means non-motile sporus-like structure will form in the thallus. That we call it as sperms. And whereas the female gametangium will become the receptive hyphae. Only as a look like a receptive hyphae to receive the sperms, to receive the male gamete. That is happen in the which group? Ascomycetes. Which fungi? Ascomycetes fungi. The sperm should be which released by female a male gamete, and the female gamete so that it take the fusion of male and female. Okay, that is spermatization, that is there in the Ascomycetes. Okay, then the somatogamy will take place in Basidiomycetes fungi. Which group of fungi? Basidiomycotina, Basidiomycetes fungi. Somatogamy. That means there is no sexual organs, only somatic cells. Vegetative thallus to opposite state thallus will be. There is no female gametangia and male gametangias. Only two opposite stain thallus. Let's with the minus. Two same strain thallus fusion. There is no fusion of the same strain thallus. It does not occur. It will be occur only in between the two different strain thallus, plus strain and minus strain. Here only the vegetative thallus is being participating in the sexual reproduction. Okay, here the sexual parts, the main is decreasing from lower fungi to higher fungi. How there is a reduction in the sexual reproduction from lower fungi to higher fungi. The lower fungi, motile spores are there in the vascular mycotina. In higher fungi, there is no sexual organs are present. That is the compatibility, adaptiveness of the fungi to multiply very fast, quick, even it taking the somatogamy, somatic vegetative thallus, copulation, conjugation will take place in the higher fungi, that is in basidiomycetes. Primary mycelium will be fused and it forms the secondary mycelium. Dichorietation will take place, two nucleus in each cell. And then again, secondary mycelium it forms the spores, basidiospores, that we call as basidiospores. Basidiospores are two. Basidias are two types: hollow basidium and pragmobasidium. It forms the four frangulase and four basidiospores. Hello? Hello, what happened? Whereas in the pragmobasidium, basidium will be branched. Branched basidium is you might have studied in the wheat rust, iridospore, teleospores. That is pragmobasidium is branched basidium. Okay, here it takes the karyogamy. There is a gap between the plasmogamy and karyogamy in the Asst.Mycotina and basidiomycotina. Okay, and then you see these all the types we have studied already. Planogamic copulation, that is there in the syncytium. Allomyces type, anisogamy and oogamy. Right, male and female gametangia come side by side. That is there in the pythium, albugo, phytophthora, peronospora, plasmospora. Gametangial, you see the two opposite gametangial will take the coupling. That is there in the muca, rhizopus. Fermatization, you see the receptive hypae, female, that means female gametangia. Is somatogamy, it is taking place in the basidiomyces. Two opposite stain thallus come together and made exchange of the cytoplasm and nucleus. It forms the secondary mycelium and then tertiary mycelium. There in the tertiary mycelium, it takes the reduction division. That is there in the basidiomycetes fungi, Marcella, Pezeza, Agaricus, and many other fungi. And the many other higher fungi, it is there. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, then.
Shall we wind up?
Yeah. Actually, just fruiting bodies I have to show. Just asexual fruiting bodies and sexual fruiting bodies I have to show. That also comes question coming from that also. Asexual and sexual fruiting bodies.
Okay, if possible, send it. Send it now.
Yeah. I'm showing now. Just okay. I'm opening the file. Just 2 seconds. Okay, it opened already. Yeah.